Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Action News 5 digital desk on this cloudy and warm Wednesday morning. You can see a live look from our High 5 camera downtown where it is 70 degrees at 9:01. We are expecting showers coming into our area later today, later this morning, and certainly this afternoon. We'll get to all of that in just a little bit. But first, I want to bring in a ray of sunshine right now into the Action News 5 digital desk. Dr. Talisa Franklin joining us now to talk about some of the community events that has her eye on a Wednesday. Good morning, Talisa. How are you?
I am wonderful, my brother. Great morning to you and great morning to everybody in the Bluff City. Listen, y'all, this weekend we have some exciting things happening. And the first stop will be Saturday morning, will be in Cordova, Tennessee. Want to invite everybody out to the Cordova's Resource Fair. Let me tell you, I'm super excited about this event. I have over 40 community partners all coming together on this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock at the YMCA in Cordova on Club Center. Listen, this event is such an amazing event. You know, partnership works, right? Working with other community partners and saying, okay, how can we all work together for the good of our community? So that's what's happening. Special love out to State Representative Antonio Parkinson, City Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, Pastor Tim Byers, Commissioner Sable Otay, and Commissioner Tamarcus Porter, and the town of Cordova and the district connectors. I'm super excited for everybody saying, "Oh, what can we do together so that Cordovians, as I call, can get all the resources under one roof?" So we came together and put up a resource fair, and it's happening on this Saturday. Listen, y'all, we have community nonprofits, we have community partners from the county, from the city, all under one roof. You will literally come from 10 to 12, experience amazing community partners, hear many speakers, but walk away with the information that you need to be a better citizen right here in the city of Memphis. Because a lot of people is calling for services. And so listen, we put them all under one roof. So make sure you get out on this Saturday at 10 o'clock for the Dr. Talisa's Community Resource Fair Cordova edition. Yeah, because you know I'm coming to another community near you with all of these great community partners. Absolutely free, cost you absolutely nothing to come. Come out and enjoy and learn so that you can get all the resources that we have in our great city. And then on Saturday evening, yeah, I'm doing a 2-in-1. I'm doing a 2-in-1. That morning, I'm doing Cordova. And then that evening at 4 o'clock, y'all, you got to meet me at the Douglas community. Get out the vote. We know they're in North Memphis. There's a lot of people that's wondering, who should they vote for? So listen, we have a nonpartisan Get Out the Vote campaign where many of our want to be electeds will be out to show you, tell you why you should vote for them. But really for me, it's about if you have not registered to vote, you can come and register to vote at this event. This event is, of course, to be hosted by myself. The one and only Dr. Brooks will be my co-host for this event. We're going to have all these different people. I'm so grateful for the campaign teams have called us to be a part. It costs you absolutely nothing. We're not asking for nothing from the campaigns or the people. We want to make sure we get the information to everybody so you can make an informed choice and be civically engaged. It is happening on this Saturday at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. At Greer Chapel Church, right there on the corner of Chelsea and Ash. Get there, y'all. For more information, you know what you can do. You can always reach out to me. But I would love to see you out there and bring somebody that is not registered to vote so we can get them registered to vote, all right? And then on Monday, y'all, I am a proud Rotarian. I love being a Rotarian. And on this Monday, y'all, we got a fundraiser. Yes, the Rotary Club Memphis Central is hosting our annual event, and this event is a fundraiser for the Drive Impact Swing for Service, baby. March 16th at 12 o'clock, high noon on Monday. Come on out, play a little golf, help us raise money as we give money back to our children for the scholarships. If you have a team or you just want to play, can you do me a favor? Can you go to our website at www.memphiscentralrotary.org and be a part? I am so excited. I am the foundation chair, and I'm super excited that we raise money for the good of our community. It's truly service over self when you're a Rotarian. So shout out to all the Rotarians around the world because we really are trying to change the world with goodness and love. And so, Andrew, that's what it's about. This weekend, resources for Cordova, North Memphis, get out the vote. Let's get people registered to vote. And then on Monday, come in, let's hit some balls, y'all. I can't wait. Y'all know I absolutely love this time when we do this golf tournament. So I hope you will join us and help us raise money and have a little fun at the same time. Okay. So we still are accepting some more teams. So you can go to the website and be a part.
I love it, Talisa, every single bit of it. We appreciate your time as always on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you all.
Okay, love you back. Another live look from our High Five camera on this Wednesday. You can see lots of clouds out there downtown. You can see the bridge off in the distance, Mississippi River, and the skyline. I want to check in with our reporter, Jared Thomas. He is in the First Alert Storm Tracker right now. And I believe, Jared, you are in DeSoto County. Is that right? Tell us where you are. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, Andrew, we're still in DeSoto County, headed on this Highway 61. We're headed towards Lake Cormorant. And I just want to let you guys know that the rain has picked up just a bit. It's not as heavy just yet. So I'm going to flip my camera so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Right now, you can definitely see the raindrops. You can see our windshield wipers going back and forth. But also, you can see, like I said, the raindrops. We've been seeing lightning also out here. The wind is still haven't picked up just yet, but like Patrick mentioned all early morning today, this is when we will start seeing the heavy rain. We'll start seeing the heavy winds. So making sure that you guys are prepared. With cars already on the road this morning headed to work or to a certain destination, make sure that you are being safe. Make sure that you're allowing space in between of each cars because these roads can still be slick and very slippery. So we want to make sure that we're keeping you guys safe. Also, make sure that you're giving yourself extra time to get to a destination. With when we see these things, these weather storms coming with heavy rain or heavy winds, you know, it's a lot of traffic that can be caused by this, and people sometimes don't know how to drive. So make sure that you're giving yourself a head start this morning while you're going to work or, like I said, any of your daily commutes. Just make sure that you're being safe. But we will continue to keep you guys updated. Like I mentioned earlier, Andrew, we are headed to Lake Cormorant, and then we're going to see that destination, see that area, just to see what we're viewing there, and then we'll keep you guys updated and informed on the latest. We're reporting with Jared Thomas. I'm reporting here in DeSoto County, Action News 5.
Okay, Jared, before we let you go, so I see that it's raining out where you are right now as you head to Lake Cormorant. Give me an idea of the kind of rain that you're feeling right now, the effects. Sometimes, and we're hearing this from Patrick Ellis, that along with these storms, we're expected to have some strong winds out there, perhaps a chance for hail. And I understand that the strongest of these storms haven't arrived yet, but can you give us more of just kind of a description of what else you're experiencing there?
So it's right now what we're seeing is just like small little rain droplets. It's not too bad. Like I mentioned, like you can see our windshield wipers going on right there. It's not coming down as heavy. So it's still, in my personal opinion, it's still something that we all can drive in. It's not the type of rain where you need to pull over on the side of the road and kind of wait till it clears up. This is like rain that you can still drive in. You can still make it. But like I said, the biggest thing is being safe when you are on these roads. That is what we're trying to prepare people for today as they're heading out the door or while they're already on the road and listening to us. Make sure that you are focused. Make sure that you continue to look both ways and make sure that you're driving carefully while you're driving on these slick roads.
Okay, Action News 5, Jared Thomas there reporting for us in DeSoto County. Jared, we appreciate the live report, and perhaps we can get an update from you later this morning before we sign off here on the Digital Desk. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, and right now we are going to take a short 60-second break. When we come back, we're going to have today's headlines and another look at that forecast on Action News 5's Digital Desk. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. 12 minutes after 9 o'clock on your Wednesday. Another live look from our High 5 camera here in downtown Memphis. You can see certainly cloudy conditions. You can see the raindrops on the lens as well in our Midtown High 5 camera. 70 degrees, 12 minutes after 9. We're expecting some storms across Memphis and the Mid-South. Some could be severe. We'll be talking more about that with your forecast later this morning. But right now I want to get to some of the top stories that we are following at this hour, and we begin with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office reporting that a 16-year-old has been charged with making threats of mass violence against a school. The threat targeted Millington Central High School. Deputies responded to a bomb scare February 25th, working alongside Tennessee Homeland Security as well as Millington Police and firefighters. Officers searched the campus. They found no explosives. Detectives later identified the teen and took him into custody on March 6th. Want to go now to Germantown High School. A Memphis Shelby County school administrator faces DUI charges. The DeSoto County Sheriff's Office says Damian Longino, the vice principal at Germantown High School, was arrested over the weekend. He bonded out when asked about his employee status. School district leaders told Action News 5 the case is under investigation. Results are in for the Mississippi primary elections. The winners will face off in the general election November 3rd. Scott Cullum, as you can see here, won the Senate nomination on the Democratic side. He will face off against Republican incumbent U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. In Mississippi, the 1st Congressional District, I want to show you that race right now. Democrat Cliff Johnson beat Kelvin Buck. He'll face off against Republican incumbent Congressman Trent Kelly, who ran unopposed. In District 2, you can see that here. Those are the results. Incumbent Democrat Congressman Benny Thompson won his primary. The Republican primary still too close to call. Republican Kevin Wilson is facing off against Ron Eller. We have updated election results on actionnews5.com. You can go there now to see the latest election results. XAI is getting the green light to expand in South Haven, and with that expansion comes the use of more natural gas turbines. The Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality is allowing the company to use dozens of them to power the Colossus 2 supercomputer on Tulane Road. Governor Tate Reeves' office says the company uses state-of-the-art emission controls, lists environmental quality as a core commitment. The ruling is leaving many residents split on the issue. XAI representatives declined comment yesterday. There have been people speaking out against it and others who are in support of it too. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves is joining in on the Trump administration's effort to try and improve the foster care system. A Home for Every Child initiative is meant to cut some of the red tape of becoming and remaining a foster family. Mississippi is no exception to the nationwide issue of having more foster children than homes. There are currently 365 foster children who need a home. Governor Tate Reeves says they'll work to license more family members to keep kids with trusted family they already know. Right now, the state has to resort on using hotels or diversion units where contract employees are with children in an apartment-type setting. The governor has requested lawmakers to provide more resources to offer other places for foster children awaiting homes. A Memphis Shelby County school teacher accused of grooming a student is back in jail after being arrested yet a 3rd time for failing to meet conditions of her bail. That's 29-year-old Kelsey Whitmore faces charges of soliciting sexual exploitation of a minor and stalking involving a male middle school student. The judge revoked her bond because Whitmore refused to wear an ankle monitor. Investigators say she took the child out to eat, took the child to church, and took the boy to hair appointments. She is due back in court later this month on March 24th. New details in the manhunt for the man police say shot a Memphis police officer in the face during a traffic stop. Investigators have released AI-generated images showing what Donnell Maxwell could look like without facial hair in case he tries to change his appearance. The Memphis Safe Task Force recently added $30,000 to reward money for his arrest, pushing the total reward money to $32,500. He is wanted for attempted first-degree murder and aggravated assault. If you see him, call Memphis Police or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND and do not approach him. Have you seen a text message about an unpaid traffic ticket? If so, it is a scam. The message looks like this. It has a link for you to pay. Do not click on that link. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security will never, ever send you messages about traffic payments. It's best to delete it and then immediately report that message. In Nashville, the state Senate passed a bill that would prevent immigration enforcement records from being made public. The bill would make the actions and names of ICE officers confidential. There have been numerous issues where ICE agents have been doxxed, meaning their names and addresses have been released, leading to disturbances outside their homes and neighborhoods. The bill is making its way through the state house. The plan to expand Tennessee's school voucher program is moving forward in the state legislature. A House K-12 subcommittee voted on expanding the voucher program from $25,000 to $40,000 at a cost of over $150 million. The bill now heads to the House Education Committee and is set for a Senate Education Committee vote later today. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has given an update on the summer EBT food program for children. He said he would likely sign a bipartisan bill requiring the state to apply for the federal summer EBT food program, providing grocery money for low-income families when school meals aren't available during the summer. If it reaches his desk right now, a bill calling for the state to accept federal funding is up for discussion in both the House and the Senate. Memphis Grizzlies coming back home after two losses. The latest one in Philadelphia last night. Ty Jerome led the way with 26 points for Memphis, but the Sixers pulled away in the second half with native Memphian Cameron Payne coming off the bench, scoring a career-high 32 points. Philadelphia won this one 139-129. The Grizzlies are back home tomorrow night to host the Dallas Mavericks at FedEx Forum.
Good job when the hot runner can't leave his guy at the basket.
And the SEC men's basketball tournament tips off later this morning in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. All 16 teams competing for a bid to the NCAA tournament. Opening round begins at 11:30 this morning. Kentucky facing LSU. Auburn will then take on Mississippi State. Texas plays Ole Miss tonight at 6. Then Oklahoma closing out the night with South Carolina. Did you see the fight in Arkansas? Doesn't Arkansas players face disciplinary action after this fight broke out between Barton and England on Saturday? This is the video from the internet broadcast. Bartlett was celebrating when the number 3 team from England punched a Barton player leading to this fight. Both teams, several fans swarmed them, some trying to break up the fight. Arkansas Activities Association says 12 players were ejected after its investigation. Barton won, so 5 players who were ejected will not be eligible to play for the championship game. 7 England players also ejected. Taylor says the Grant County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Arkansas Activities Association is cooperating. More disciplinary actions are possible depending on this investigation. We're going to take a 60-second break on the Action News 5 digital desk. We're back then. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. It's time to check in on one of the prettiest places in the entire Memphis Mid-South area. Jenna Harris is at Memphis Botanic Garden right now to talk about tulips at twilight. It sounds like an amazing event for adults, right? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're excited to bring y'all out here and see all of our beautiful tulips that are starting to bloom right now. We have a lot of things going on with our whole season of bloom. Tulips at Twilight is going to be one of those. At the rate the tulips are going, it might be strings in the spring or, our tulips, Mother Nature is coming in just a little bit earlier than we expected. So right now our tulips are in full bloom. This weekend is going to be a fantastic time to be able to come out and see those. The weather's looking great for that. You can come out, see the tulips in full bloom before we get that little shot of cold weather. There'll still be tulips a little bit later in the spring. But again, we've got all of the different things that are starting to bloom. The great thing about being here in the garden is that every day it's beautiful. It might not be exactly what we expected when we expected it, but there's always something blooming and something looking fantastic out here.
It really looks amazing, Jenna. I mean, those tulips just look gorgeous. Tell us exactly where you are at the Botanic Garden.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling Tulip Terrace. This is back across from the Japanese garden near our Blecken Pavilion area. And historically, this hillside has been covered with daffodils. A lot of those are already done blooming. They come out a little bit earlier in the spring, in the late winter, early spring. And so this year, as a part of a big celebration of bloom, we planted tulips all throughout the garden. This is one of the largest concentrations of tulips in the garden is Tulip Terrace. And for tulips at twilight, and they'll be playing beautiful string music as the sun is setting. You can purchase a meal and be able to be here out in the garden, enjoying your dinner and some cocktails while the band is playing the music back here within the.
Okay, so this is April 3rd, right? So this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock? Can you hear me, Jenna? Uh-oh, I think we lost you.
There you go.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Good. I was going to say, this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, this is going to be April 3rd. So again, our tulips might be done by that point, but everything else will be blooming and beautiful, and we'll be able to enjoy the garden space as everything is blooming. Right now, we're waiting on those cherry trees to pop. We'll have our cherry blossom picnic coming up here in a couple of weeks, which is one of our favorite times at the garden. It's one of our kind of our kickoff of spring here at the garden, and we'll be able to enjoy that as well. So it's looking like you're going to be able to see everything blooming at one time out here before we hit into those southern favorites with our azaleas and some of the other things that'll be blooming throughout here.
And if people want to see just more information on various events that you guys happening throughout the spring and summer months, give us the web address one more time.
Yep, you can visit our website at membg.org. You can go on there. That'll have all of the information about all of our upcoming events. We've got our Sunday Garden Club classes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about gardening and how you can make your yard look like this as well, you can come to some of those. And then all of the other things we have coming up and the links for the tickets will be on there as well.
Okay, Jenna Harris, appreciate you as always, and the beautiful 96 acres at Memphis Botanic Garden. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to tell you about a show that's coming to A&E. It is called Predator Hunters, and it is a new series that follows a 30-year veteran investigator by the name of Detective Tony Godwin, where he and his team in the North Texas-based Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, they uncover all kinds of online exploitation and bring perpetrators to justice before they harm any children. And joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have Tony joining us to talk a little bit more about this series. Tony, it's good to meet you. Tell me, first off, about your background. 30 years, is this all in the Texas area? Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Thank you for having me. And, I've been in law enforcement for almost 35 years total. I started out in the military as a cop and a detective, and then I transitioned to a civilian agency where I've been for the last 32 years. And my role for the past 20 of those 32 years has been on the North Texas ICAC Task Force.
Okay, and so obviously the work has gained the attention of these producers at A&E. Tell me the kind of work that you do and what we're going to see if we, tune in to watch this. I have a little bit of video that I can show while you're talking.
Yeah, thank you for that. So generally, I do undercover work online. So anything that affects a child, gaming systems, cell phones, computers, the World Wide Web, anything involving child exploitation, I put myself out there in an undercover capacity in the hopes that a predator will find me instead of a real child. Everything that I do online in an undercover capacity is something that I've learned, unfortunately, from a real case involving a real child. And so it's important for us and the ICAC Task Force to be out there and prevent any harm to a real kid if we can.
The first thing when I was prepping for this interview, Tony, initially I thought of To Catch a Predator, which was early 2000s. It was on NBC, very popular show. How is this different, or is it very much the same?
Oh, it's very different. I can assure you that. At the end of the day, this is all run by law enforcement. In order to do this type of work in the ICAC, you have to be an active law enforcement officer, which was very different than how it was done back in the day. And while entertaining, the entertainment value is still there because, we do end up catching a lot of really bad people. And I think the audience itself is going to hopefully gain the understanding and the education component to this, to know that these are real life case studies. This isn't make believe. This is things that really happen. And I think they're also going to see just how rapidly things move and the reality and severity of some of the things these offenders will do and say.
So you've been doing this, as we've been talking about, for over 30 years. What kind of advice would you give to parents? There are so many parents out there that are concerned about online predators and their kids being online. Give me some basic advice that you would give those parents.
Yeah. Oh, really great question. Number one is I would say the key thing is probably be intentional, leaning in, knowing when you see some sort of behavior change in a child. Maybe they go from an A student down to a D student, or maybe their friend group has changed significantly, or they've always been an outgoing person and now they're kind of an introvert. So pay attention. Those could be red flags that something's going on. Also, know what's going on, know how to get into their phones, know the passcodes, know the apps, educate yourself about where they're going and what they're doing, and monitor what they're doing. If you do that on your own, as well as with maybe some kind of a software to do that, you're going to help yourself out in the long run, and do so in a loving and constructive way that's age appropriate for your child. But that intentionality of multiple conversations over the course of time is the key. That's the key. Because if you do that, the chance that if something does happen, your child will come to you or a trusted adult and say, I think I've gotten myself into a situation. You may not be happy. You may be a little disappointed, but you can do this and conquer this and empower that child to know that they did the right thing, and we're going to get this taken care of.
Great advice there, Tony. Final thing, where can we watch this show?
It's on A&E on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time. The premiere episode was last week, but there's 10 episodes in this, so I hope everybody will tune in on Thursdays at 9 o'clock Eastern on A&E.
Okay. Detective Tony Godwin, we really appreciate you coming on the Digital Desk, telling you not only about telling us not only about your show, Predator Hunters, but also great advice for some parents out there that have young children. And we know that that is certainly a problem with so many people all across the country, is this online predators that are out there. So listen, we appreciate the time. Thanks for the expertise, and we'll look for you on A&E Thursday night. Appreciate it.
I thank you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A First Alert day for you that you need to be weather aware to, as we are watching strong and severe thunderstorms potentially coming into play here across the Mid-South. Some of those storms could be quite heavy and, again, strong as they roll on through. First Alert Futurecast showing that line of showers and thunderstorms moving eastward. And as it moves farther east, it runs into more of an environment that would be conducive for strong and severe storms the closer it gets to I-55, just because it does get into a more juiced up environment, more instability to work through. So some of these storms could quickly become strong to severe. Strong winds, the primary severe weather risk, but we can't rule out some hail. We can't rule out a spin up tornado. This will be through the early afternoon. Then we transition into a heavy rain aspect that will take us through the afternoon and evening time frame. Some of this quite heavy rainfall moving across the region that could lead up to some flood concerns as we head through the course of the day today. Storm timeline, again, still highlighting for the strong storm potential between 9 o'clock in the morning through about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then heavy rainfall that will likely linger into the early evening hours before tapering off to just plain Jane showers here. So again, when you look at the First Alert Futurecast, timing it out, you get closer to about lunchtime, and that's when the storms will be crossing over I-55, moving farther out to the east, out towards the Tennessee River as we get closer to 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the rain sets in, holds steady for several hours until a front works its way through the area. Once the winds turn around to the north and west, that's when we'll start to see some changes coming in our direction. Much cooler air moves in as we head into the start of your Thursday. Sunshine to return, temperatures in the 30s and 40s to start off the day on Thursday, on our way up to about 58, the high temperature during the course of the afternoon hours. But again, today, want you to stay weather aware on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. We go into your Friday, not bad. We'll have a lot of sunshine, upper 60s, low 70s with sunshine and a southwest breeze flow around 10 to 15 miles per hour. The Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade on Beale Street. Great weather on Saturday. Tons of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the 70s with the south wind coming in around 10 miles per hour. That will help us out, of course, to keep us pretty quiet and bright, but we will also be importing moisture, leading up to some opportunities for rain and storms again by late Sunday. Right now, it looks like that morning commute should be fine. If you've got church plans on Sunday, we'll get through that the majority of the day without much fanfare, but showers and storms will start dropping into the area. At times, heavy, but this will be a quick mover because quickly behind it, colder air will start moving into the area. We're talking highs in the upper 40s. struggling on Monday here across the area as the back door of Canada opens up and he comes shooting down the plains from 75 Sunday, 48 on Monday, and 50 for a high temperature coming up on Tuesday. Then Tuesday, look at that low here in the city of Memphis, 30 degrees. That means the outlying areas will likely be colder than that. To start off early on Tuesday morning, a widespread freeze and frost more than likely here across the Mid-South, something we haven't seen in a while, but a reminder to many folks that we tell you all the time, do not put out your plants until after tax day. And that's the reason why, because of things like that. We'll get back up to close to 62 degrees on Wednesday, back to the 70s as we round out the the winter season, heading into spring next Friday, a high in the mid-70s with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. A reminder, stay weather aware throughout the course of the day. One way to do that on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Stay safe, and we'll keep you advised of any changes.
To my first guest on the Action News 5 digital desk, and he is a legend. We are talking about someone who is world renowned. There he is. We're talking about Bakithi Kumalo. He is coming to Memphis. He's going to be at the Halloran Center Saturday, March 14th. He is someone that is known around the world. He's played with everybody. He is best known for creating iconic bass lines in the classics like You Can Call Me Al, Paul Simon's, Graceland, all that stuff. And he's joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk to talk about this concert coming to Memphis at the Halloran Center March 14th. Bakithi, great to meet you. Tell me how things are going for you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. All is good. It's all excitement, and I'm just so looking forward to come to Memphis. My goodness. I mean, I've been there before, but really this is more exciting now that I'm coming there with my band to play my music and share a great night with the audience and sing along and, bring South Africa to Memphis.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what this performance is going to be like. What can the audience expect?
I always surprise people, because I've been playing with Paul for so many years, I think 40 some years this year. But my music, it's like you just never know what's going to happen. There's always surprises, things. Nothing really it's planned. It's all surprise because that's how we do it in the village. We just throw you in the mix, sing along, and we teach you the language and play some amazing. And I have some really amazing, talented musicians like the saxophone player. His name is Maurice Goldbeck. He was born in South Africa in Cape Town, and we met in Zimbabwe, like in the 1982 or 83, somewhere there. He's 89 years old, and he's still playing. And then some of the other musicians that I've met them when I moved to the States. But so the night is going to be really amazing, and also stories, and talk about our journey, talk about my journey, playing with Paul Simon and many others.
Fantastic. And I think many people who know music and know Paul Simon certainly remember that song, You Can Call Me Out, Going to Graceland. Tell me about just the kind of career that you've had. I mean, we're talking about spanning decades. I mean, generations, right?
That's right. That's right. Growing up in South Africa, first of all, things were so difficult, so hard. I grew up in a musical house. My grandmother, she used to go to church. My uncle played saxophone, and but it was chaotic. We lived in a four-room house, and 17 people live in that house, cousins and just everybody. And it was crazy. But the only thing that was beautiful was music, because every weekends, all the cultures, people, they walk around and singing and dress up with beautiful color clothes and playing drums and just singing a lot of stuff. And for me, it was enough information to be a musician, So I just stayed with it, and I stayed with it until the 80s, when I was discovered by Paul Simon. I didn't even know who the guy was. But
That's amazing.
I mean, I didn't expect this. I just played music. I had no idea what was gonna happen. But I always fell in love with American music, because every time I hear these songs on the radio, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. I would love to see these people. I would love to go there. But I asked for too much, and Paul Simon came to South Africa in 1986. I was chosen, and now, funny thing, I was working as a mechanic, as a runner, not, just to help my mother, because she was getting sick. And so I was trying to make some money for her to get some medicine or something like that. But then the call came at the job to say Paul Simon was looking for me. Man, I was so scared. I was dropping things because I didn't know what Paul Simon, who the hell is Paul Simon? you know. And then my boss, he keeps saying, yeah, Paul Simon from Jamaica, Queens. And I don't know where the Jamaica, Queens. And they finally explained from Jamaica, Queens, New York. He sang the song Mother and Child Reunion. And I'm like, yeah. He's from Jamaica. He's the Rasta. I expect like a guy from Jamaica.
Very different than you found out. I know. And you played with him for
when I go to the
35
studio,
years, right?
Pardon me?
You played with Paul Simon's band, went on tour for over 35 years. Is that right?
40 years this year.
Wow. Okay, so we got the
and
concert.
I'm still playing with him.
Yeah. So we got the concert on March 14th at the Halloran Center, downtown Memphis. You and the South African All-Stars. Tell us what the audience can expect.
Dancing, laughing. It's just going to be just fun, We like to hang out with the audience and just show who we are, the music, how we celebrate. And of course, we're going to be joined by the young kids from school. I can't remember the name of the school. Who's going to be joining us to play a couple of songs with us on stage.
The Memphis Jazz Workshop, my understanding is you're going to be joined by the Memphis Jazz Workshop.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
That's great. And let me ask you, if people, how would you describe the music that is going to be displayed? People know Paul Simon, but what's your music?
My music, I'm a solo bassist on my own rights. I write my own songs, and some of the musicians that I'm going to be playing with them, they have their own songs. So the music, it's South African music, maybe the music that people never heard before, but it's going to be very entertaining. And then we're mixing it up also with like jazz, South African jazz, and some smooth jazz, and I do some crazy bass stuff, and it's really hard to describe, but they should come for fun. It's going to be fun. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, listen, Bakithi, we really appreciate you coming on the Action News 5 digital desk and talking about the concert that's happening March 14th. Bakithi Kumalo and the South African All-Stars at the Halloran Center. Right around the corner. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations on such a successful career and everything that you've been able to accomplish. And we look forward to seeing you March 14th, downtown Memphis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A first alert day for you that you need to be weather aware to as we are watching strong and severe thunderstorms potentially coming into play here across the Mid-South. Some of those storms could be quite heavy and again strong as they roll on through. First Alert Futurecast showing that line of showers and thunderstorms moving eastward, and as it moves farther east, it runs into more of an environment that would be conducive for strong and severe storms the closer it gets to I-55, just because it does get into a more juiced up environment, more instability to work through. So some of these storms could quickly become strong to severe, strong winds, the primary severe weather risk, but we can't rule out some hail. We can't rule out a spin up tornado. This will be through the early afternoon. Then we transition into a heavy rain aspect that will take us through the afternoon and evening time frame. Some of this quite heavy rainfall moving across the region that could lead up to some flood concerns as we head through the course of the day today. Storm timeline again still highlighting for the strong storm potential between 9 o'clock in the morning through about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then heavy rainfall that will likely linger into the early evening hours before tapering off to just plain Jane showers here. So again, when you look at the First Alert Futurecast, timing it out, you get closer to about lunchtime, and that's when the storms will be crossing over I-55, moving farther out to the east, out towards the Tennessee River as we get closer to 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the rain sets in, holds steady for several hours until a front works its way through the area. Once the winds turn around to the north and west, that's when we'll start to see some changes coming in our direction. Much cooler air moves in as we head into the start of your Thursday. Sunshine to return, temperatures in the 30s and 40s to start off the day on Thursday, on our way up to about 58, the high temperature during the course of the afternoon hours. But again, today, want you to stay weather aware on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. We go into your Friday, not bad. We'll have a lot of sunshine, upper 60s, low 70s with sunshine and a southwest breeze flow around 10 to 15 miles per hour. The Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade on Beale Street. Great weather on Saturday. Tons of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the 70s with the south wind coming in around 10 miles per hour. That will help us out, of course, to keep us pretty quiet and bright, but we will also be importing moisture, leading up to some opportunities for rain and storms again by late Sunday. Right now, it looks like that morning commute should be fine. If you've got church plans on Sunday, we'll get through that the majority of the day without much fanfare, but showers and storms will start dropping into the area. At times, heavy, but this will be a quick mover because quickly behind it, colder air will start moving into the area. We're talking highs in the upper 40s, struggling on Monday here across the area as the back door of Canada opens up and it comes shooting down the plains from 75 Sunday, 48 on Monday, and 50 for a high temperature coming up on Tuesday. Then Tuesday, look at that low here in the city of Memphis, 30 degrees. That means the outlying areas will likely be colder than that to start off early on Tuesday morning. A widespread freeze and frost more than likely here across the Mid-South, something we haven't seen in a while, but a reminder to many folks that we tell you all the time, do not put out your plants until after tax day. And that's the reason why, because of things like that. We'll get back up to close to 62 degrees on Wednesday, back to the 70s as we round out the spring, the winter season, heading into spring next Friday, a high in the mid 70s with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. A reminder, stay weather aware throughout the course of the day. One way to do that on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Stay safe and we'll keep you advised of any changes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Regional One Hospital is hosting its annual Trauma and Burn Conference later this month. And so there's going to be people from all over to be a part of this event that's happening in Memphis at the Memphis Hilton. Joining me now to talk more about it, I'm joined by Lane Oxner. He's part of Regional One Health, and he is a trauma burn outreach educator. So tell me more about this annual event, Lane. Good morning.
Good morning. So our annual Trauma and Burn Conference is an educational opportunity for EMS, nurses, PAs, physician assistants, medical doctors, surgeons in the entire Mid-South region to come together and be able to learn, spend a whole day for trauma and burn education. Our layout is we do 30-minute increment presentations throughout the day. We start around 8 a.m. and end around 4 p.m. And we are able to cover lots of different educational topics that will help these people go back to their smaller communities and be able to provide the accurate and good trauma and burn care to help those patients out.
Okay, and so this is March 26th at the Memphis Hilton. And how many agencies and various affiliations are coming in? Is it a wide swath, and is it outside our region, nationally or regionally?
Absolutely. So we estimate we'll have approximately 300 attendees this year, which is growing from last year. This is our third annual conference, so we're just getting back started with Regional One Health hosting this event. Last year we had 250 register with around 215 attendees show up at the door and check in. This year our goal is to hit 300, which would be amazing. The thing is with this conference is it's a conference that's mostly Mid-South people, people coming from Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee to come and get the education. But we have people that travel from further states, especially up in the northern states. It really just depends. Last year we had someone that traveled from Minnesota just because they were like, I heard it was a great educational opportunity, lots of great speakers. They said it was very organized and professional. They said, and so I wanted to come and check it out, which is fantastic. And that's our goal. It is at the Hilton Memphis. It is just one day on March 26th. And then it's amazing. Our keynote speaker that afternoon at 3:30 will be Dr. Dustin Smoot, all the way from South Dakota. He is a trauma surgeon out there, and he'll be there to kind of tell his story as a trauma surgeon, but also tell his side of the story because he was a patient at one time and how it's kind of changed his care and view on trauma care.
Is this just open to EMTs? Is it open to others out there, or just the general public? How's it work?
So technically it is open to the general public. I will say that it targets mostly anyone in the healthcare field on the emergency side or surgeon side. So anyone in the EMS community, EMTs, paramedics, firefighters, anyone like that. We do have some police officers that have attended in the past, and it's great education for them to know for pre-hospital and on-scene safety. And then it obviously targets trauma surgeons or general surgeons. It will also target any type of nurses that work in trauma care, burn care, emergency care, and then the nurse practitioners, physicians assistants, any of those advanced practice practitioners that are taking care of these patients. It's a great opportunity for them. A lot of the rural hospitals in the surrounding states, sometimes those emergency departments are only staffed by those advanced practitioners like a nurse practitioner or physician's assistant. So this is a great opportunity for them to come in and get great education on how to take care of lots of different types of injuries. That way, when they go back to their community, they have that extra knowledge and of those specific type of cases of trauma and burn patients that they don't deal with every day.
You know, it sounds like a great event. I mean, it sounds wonderful. I mean, 300 people attending. And you're talking about like the latest and most innovative ways to treat these kind of patients, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of our topics, we have neurosurgery that's going to come and talk about brain injuries. We have the orthopedic surgeons that are going to talk about some of our long bone fractures with like your femur or your upper arm. Then we have vascular surgeons that are going to speak on vascular injuries. Some of our burn surgeons and burn physicians from the burn center are going to speak about inhalation injuries, as well as the technology that has advanced to take care of burn care and different skin transplants and stuff like that. Then we have some different trauma surgeons and general surgeons that will speak. Different trauma surgeons from Arkansas as well will come and speak and kind of give us an update on the Arkansas trauma care and what they do to keep their system running as well.
Fantastic. Anything else, Lane, we can touch on before we let you go?
No, I think it's a great opportunity. If anyone's interested, you can always reach out to anyone at Regional 1. Most people know about the event or how to get a hold of our team. We would love to have anyone in the healthcare field be a part. Thank you.
Okay, March 26th at the Memphis Hilton, a great event there. The Trauma and Burn Conference that's happening for one day there later this month. Lane, thanks for breaking it down for us. Congratulations on all the attendees that are signed up to be a part of this, and it's growing bigger and better each and every year. We appreciate the details this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. It's time to check in on one of the prettiest places in the entire Memphis Mid-South area. Jenna Harris is at Memphis Botanic Garden right now to talk about tulips at twilight. It sounds like an amazing event for adults, right? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're excited to bring y'all out here and see all of our beautiful tulips that are starting to bloom right now. We have a lot of things going on with our whole season of bloom. Tulips at twilight is going to be one of those. At the rate the tulips are going, it might be strings in the spring or, our tulips. Mother Nature is coming in just a little bit earlier than we expected. So right now our tulips are in full bloom. This weekend is going to be a fantastic time to be able to come out and see those. The weather's looking great for that. You can come out, see the tulips in full bloom before we get that little shot of cold weather. There'll still be tulips a little bit later in the spring. But again, we've got all of the different things that are starting to bloom. The great thing about being here in the garden is that every day it's beautiful. It might not be exactly what we expected when we expected it, but there's always something blooming and something looking fantastic out here.
It really looks amazing, Jenna. I mean, those tulips just look gorgeous. Tell us exactly where you are at the Botanic Garden.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling Tulip Terrace. This is back across from the Japanese garden near our Blecken Pavilion area. And historically, this hillside has been covered with daffodils. A lot of those are already done blooming. They come out a little bit earlier in the spring, in the late winter, early spring. And so this year, as a part of a big celebration of bloom, we planted tulips all throughout the garden. This is one of the largest concentrations of tulips in the garden is Tulip Terrace. And for tulips at twilight, and they'll be playing beautiful string music as the sun is setting. You can purchase a meal and be able to be here out in the garden, enjoying your dinner and some cocktails while the band is playing the music back here within the.
Okay, so this is April 3rd, right? So this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock? Can you hear me, Jenna? Uh-oh, I think we lost you.
There you go.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Good. I was going to say, this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, this is going to be April 3rd. So again, our tulips might be done by that point, but everything else will be blooming and beautiful, and we'll be able to enjoy the garden space as everything is blooming. Right now we're waiting on those cherry trees to pop. We'll have our cherry blossom picnic coming up here in a couple of weeks, which is one of our favorite times at the garden. It's one of our kind of our kickoff of spring here at the garden, and we'll be able to enjoy that as well. So it's looking like you're going to be able to see everything blooming at one time out here before we hit into those southern favorites with our azaleas and some of the other things that'll be blooming throughout here.
And if people want to see just more information on various events that you guys happening throughout the spring and summer months, give us the web address one more time.
Yep, you can visit our website at membg.org. You can go on there. That'll have all of the information about all of our upcoming events. We've got our Sunday Garden Club classes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about gardening and how you can make your yard look like this as well, you can come to some of those. And then all of the other things we have coming up and the links for the tickets will be on there as well.
Okay, Jenna Harris, appreciate you as always, and the beautiful 96 acres at Memphis Botanic Garden. Thank you so much. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, there is a new series with someone very familiar to you, Mike Wolfe. He is American Picker star on the History Channel, and he's got a new series celebrating America's rarest collectibles and iconic stories. And he is the host, the executive producer of this new series. He is someone that most people recognize searching for hidden treasures, American Pickers. I'm sure that you have heard this story as an ultimate treasure hunter. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk from as far away as Nashville, Tennessee, he is with us now talking about his new series and his adventures in Memphis. Mike, it's great to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your adventures in Memphis.
Okay,
Good morning.
well, oh man, I appreciate the opportunity. We are still airing American Pickers. That show has been on for 16 years now. That is actually a show that I pitched for 5 years, and I was living in my van. I bought a camera. I was traveling the country, buying and selling things, and I wanted to start documenting it. And so all of that hard work has led to this interview that we're at right now.
Excellent, excellent. So this is a brand new series, and I have some video that we can roll as you talk about it. Tell me a little bit about how this series differs from what's currently on the air for the last 16 years on the History Channel, Mike.
Okay, so it's different and it's similar in the respect. So there's a high level of storytelling on this show, just like there is on American Pickers. You're not going to see me actually pick anything, though. You're going to see me introducing pieces. We're going to cut to a reenactment. We're going to cut to an expert, and then I'm going to do the out. I'm going to do what they call wraparounds. But I was involved in picking these stories that we're talking about. It's exciting to me because we're talking about American history, which is the history of all of us, and I think that's important for us to still dive into.
I agree, and I'm looking at it right now. It looks really cool, seeing some vintage things. Can you talk about some of the things that that you'd like to, that you guys are going to highlight on this new series?
This episode that you're showcasing here is transportation related. It talks about the Batmobile. It talks about James Bond's car. It talks about a 1908 Harley that was discovered in a barn in Wisconsin. It talks about James Dean's car. But that's just one episode. Each episode is themed. There's 8 episodes. So we're going to be talking about anything from space-related stuff to electronics to sports-related things. There's just a huge gamut of what we're covering on the show. But the exciting thing about this show is we're talking about how it was found, who found it, and then we're showing what it realized at the end of each piece. That's one of the things that a lot of people have always been curious about on American Pickers is they're like, I see you guys buy this stuff and I see what you pay for it, but we never see the end result. This show changes that.
Do you go by cities? How does it work exactly? Peel the curtain back, if you will, about, do you camp out in one area and then go to all the destinations, or do you go from city to city based upon the iconic finds that you see?
Well, on American Pickers, that's exactly what we would do. We would travel for 2 weeks on the road at a time. We would camp out in a city, and then we would go off in different directions from that, that hive. But on this show, we actually filmed 8 episodes in 4 days in my warehouse in Columbia, Tennessee. What you're seeing me walk past right there, that's actually my stuff. That's a warehouse full of my collectibles. It's a 1947 Chevrolet dealership that I'm walking through there.
That is so cool. I love it. I love it. And so you're right down the road from us here in Memphis and the Mid-South. Anything that we can talk about that you perhaps found that's a little bit related to the Memphis area?
Well, I mean, we did a show there with a guy, I can't remember his name. He runs for mayor every year. He threw flour all over Frank and I when we were Prince Mongo.
Mongo?
Prince Mongo
What?
was the guy's name. You know that guy?
Of course. Everybody knows him.
Okay.
He's an alien.
Well, we did a
from the
show with
planet
him,
Zamunda.
and we bought some oh my gosh, we bought some great historic signs from record stores that were in Memphis. Frank and I used to drive around Memphis 25 years ago and go into neighborhoods where there were a lot of buildings that weren't occupied and try to find out who owned the building so we could buy the neon sign off the front of it. So we've been at this for a very long time, and I love Memphis, man. I mean, obviously I'm a music fan, but it's really the people, just like any place else. The people have so much to be proud of there, and you can feel that.
I couldn't agree with you more. 1,000%, Mike. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk for our audience how people can watch this, when they can watch this, so we can bring up those numbers.
Okay, so it's 9/8 Central on the History Channel on Sunday. There's going to be 8 episodes, and the first episode airs this Sunday, 9/8 Central on History.
Excellent. Mike Wolfe joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thanks so much for giving us the update here on your one and only greatest picks and this new show. And congratulations on all your success. I mean, 16 years having that long of a tenure of one show is fantastic. So way to go. And hey, listen, you love Memphis. We love you back. So we appreciate your time, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A first alert day for you that you need to be weather aware to as we are watching strong and severe thunderstorms potentially coming into play here across the Mid-South. Some of those storms could be quite heavy and again strong as they roll on through. First Alert Futurecast showing that line of showers and thunderstorms moving eastward, and as it moves farther east, it runs into more of an environment that would be conducive for strong and severe storms the closer it gets to I-55, just because it does get into a more juiced up environment, more instability to work through. So some of these storms could quickly become strong to severe, strong winds, the primary severe weather risk, but we can't rule out some hail. We can't rule out a spin up tornado. This will be through the early afternoon. Then we transition into a heavy rain aspect that will take us through the afternoon and evening time frame. Some of this quite heavy rainfall moving across the region that could lead up to some flood concerns as we head through the course of the day today. Storm timeline, again, still highlighting for the strong storm potential between 9 o'clock in the morning through about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then heavy rainfall that will likely linger into the early evening hours before tapering off to just plain Jane showers here. So again, when you look at the First Alert Futurecast, timing it out, you get closer to about lunchtime, and that's when the storms will be crossing over I-55, moving farther out to the east, out towards the Tennessee River as we get closer to 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the rain sets in, holds steady for several hours until a front works its way through the area. Once the winds turn around to the north and west, that's when we'll start to see some changes coming in our direction. Much cooler air moves in as we head into the start of your Thursday. Sunshine to return, temperatures in the 30s and 40s to start off the day on Thursday, on our way up to about 58, the high temperature during the course of the afternoon hours. But again, today, want you to stay weather aware on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. We go into your Friday, not bad. We'll have a lot of sunshine, upper 60s, low 70s with sunshine and a southwest breeze flow around 10 to 15 miles per hour. The Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade on Beale Street. Great weather on Saturday. Tons of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the 70s with the south wind coming in around 10 miles per hour. That will help us out, of course, to keep us pretty quiet and bright, but we will also be importing moisture, leading up to some opportunities for rain and storms again by late Sunday. Right now, it looks like that morning commute should be fine. If you've got church plans on Sunday, we'll get through that the majority of the day without much fanfare, but showers and storms will start dropping into the area. At times, heavy, but this will be a quick mover because quickly behind it, colder air will start moving into the area. We're talking highs in the upper 40s. Struggling on Monday here across the area as the back door of Canada opens up and he comes shooting down the plains from 75 Sunday, 48 on Monday, and 50 for a high temperature coming up on Tuesday. Then Tuesday, look at that low here in the city of Memphis, 30 degrees. That means the outlying areas will likely be colder than that. To start off early on Tuesday morning, a widespread freeze and frost more than likely here across the Mid-South, something we haven't seen in a while, but a reminder to many folks that we tell you all the time, do not put out your plants until after tax day. And that's the reason why, because of things like that. We'll get back up to close to 62 degrees on Wednesday, back to the 70s as we round out the the winter season, heading into spring next Friday, a high in the mid-70s with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. A reminder, stay weather aware throughout the course of the day. One way to do that on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Stay safe, and we'll keep you
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. If you're like me, if you're like most Mid-Southerners, you are so happy there's no more snow and ice anywhere on the ground. I don't care if it rains. I don't care if it's 85 degrees already. It just isn't. We're just not dealing with any snow and ice. I don't know what the machine's working on as a mind of its own. But let's bring in Jalen Suchek on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk about some amazing events that really kind of help us usher in the spring season. Jalen, good morning.
Yes, I am of the same sentiment with you. I'm over the cold weather, and it just feels amazing, which is great because we're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors this month.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, you're highlighting some of the prettiest areas in the city of Memphis. Let's go.
Yeah, so the first, I don't know if people are super aware of this, but 2026 is going to be just a really huge year for arts and culture in Memphis. We have a lot of really exciting openings. We have, Memphis Art Museum at the end of the year. The Metal Museum will be opening in the fall. Legacy Building at National Civil Rights Museum. And a lot of milestones. So I know the Memphis Youth Symphony was just on. It's a anniversary year for them as well. But one of the big anniversaries happening is the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. They are celebrating 50 years. And so if you've spent any time out in the gardens over the years, they are very known for their tulip display. This year, they are just dialing it up ×3. So they have planted 650,000 tulips that will be in bloom very, very soon. You'll get the early blooms if you go right now, but about mid to late March is when you're really going to see that kind of full display. And of course, the Dixon is also always free to visit. So just a really good time to go out, be outside and enjoy the gardens. The tulips are beautiful and it always changes every year.
I love the fact that it's still free for everybody because it is one of the prettiest, most colorful places in all of Memphis. In fact, the first time I ever visited, Jalen, Memphis, Tennessee, I was taken to the Dixon because it is so pretty. It's just such a gem.
That's a good hostess who took you there. And yeah, so it's free forever too. So that's great news.
Certainly is.
And then when you're at the Dixon, you have to go inside, of course. The galleries are also part of the free experience. Right now, they have for an on exhibit, it's called Black Artists in America from the Bicentennial to September 11th. This is the third and final show in the series. And you can see from our video and a reel we just posted on Instagram last week or so. It is an incredible display. You can really get lost in this for hours. And it's going to be on display from now through March 29th. It features 50 works by different artists, including Ramir Bearden, Elizabeth Catlett, Ernie Barnes. He is the artist heavily featured on the show Good Times, if you're familiar with that. So it's just a really incredible display. And then they also have their other traditional collections on display as well. And then another piece to this is because they are celebrating the 50th anniversary, they have an interactive gallery. It's called Meet the Dixons. So it'll tell the story essentially of how the gardens came to be and the couple, which is Margaret and Hugo Dixon. But they're a little bit about their story. And that will be on display through May 31st.
I love it. It's just two great reasons to check out the Dixon. And I understand the Dixon's neighbor, if you will, is also going crazy this spring with some amazing events too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I encourage you to go to the Dixon multiple times and then stick around on that east corner because Memphis Botanic Garden is hosting Bloom. It's 1,000,000 Shades of Spring. So there will be over 1,000,000 blooms happening at the gardens between March and May. So this is going to kind of take you through a seasonal journey of blooms. So you'll begin, of course, with the cherry blossoms, to tulips, to azaleas and magnolias. And then they're going to be really dialing up the activity. So of course they want you to come visit the gardens during those different blooming times. But they're going to be doing Bloom Saturdays. This will be happening every week. It's an all ages kind of make a day of it experience. There will be a bunch of kid activities, food trucks, live performances, cultural celebrations, and a lot more. And then they also have some events for the adults. So this is the after hours Bloom energy. So it's 21 and up only events. They're going to be doing mixology workshops, sip and strolls, flower arranging workshops, tulips at twilight, just a jam-packed calendar for the next 3 months happening at the Memphis Botanic Garden.
Yeah, Memphis Botanic Garden dials it up like 365 days a year. They have great stuff for the family and great stuff for adults as well. Gosh, Jalen, that Park and Cherry location in Memphis is going to be gorgeous.
It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, between the both of them, I think it's just one of the outdoor destinations in the South.
No question, no question. I can't wait. So what else you got?
And right now, what just opened last week at the Memphis Brooks Museum of Art is the Memphis College of Art 1936 to 2020, an Enduring Legacy collection. So this is going to tell the 84-year history of the Memphis College of Art, which did, of course, close in 2020. So the exhibition will feature the work of 90 artists, that's faculty, administrators, and graduates of the school during that time. And these are, many of these artists are artists that have gone on to have great success. They have collections and work in prominent museums, galleries, and collections nationwide. And as you can see from the video, there's just countless number of mediums of art, from photography, painting, ceramics, textiles, sculptures, printmaking, and more. So this will be on view through September 27th. And this is just kind of really important and sentimental, especially to Memphis. A lot of those artists are still working in our city, thankfully, and kind of can look at it as almost the closing chapter of the school now that the Metal Museum is making headway with their renovation of moving into that space in Overton Park.
Yeah, you know, that was something that I think a lot of Memphians and Mid-Southerners were sad to see go. I mean, it had such a history and such a legacy in Memphis. And, you know, I know there's another art school actually in East Memphis that's opened up and to try to fill the gap there. What else do you have going on in the I Love Memphis blog, Jalen?
Well, we have a lot. So we do have individual guides for the Dixon's 50th if you want to see more of those events, as well as the Memphis Botanic Gardens Bloom. So completely curated guides for that. In our other updates, we have a March events guide. It's 25 plus things to do all month long. And also, we just got our St. Patrick's Day guide live yesterday, and we will be continuing to add events because they'll really start getting announced this week. But it's already looking like it's going to be a really fun St. Patrick's Day. But we are heading into spring. We have our food and drink festivals guide. It's time to pack the calendar, so definitely use the blog to fill in those dates before you're on Saturday morning and you're like, what do I want to do? There's going to be a lot to do in the next upcoming months.
I love it. I love MemphisBlog.com. Jalen Suchek running it all for us. Joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Jalen, as always, you always bring it every time you come on the Digital Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Okay, back here live in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. This is a live picture from downtown Memphis right now. It is raining pretty heavily there. In 60 seconds, we're going to go to our reporter who is in the First Alert Storm Tracker. We're going to get a live update from Jared Thomas in 60 seconds. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. 10:25 is the time on your Wednesday morning. That's a live look from our high-five camera, Midtown Memphis. You could barely see the street below Union Avenue. When we look downtown, you can see also rain coming down pretty heavily. Let's get an update right now from our reporter there in downtown Memphis. Let's go to Jared Thomas live for us. Jared, hang on one second. Let me get you pulled up here on live view number 1. All right, Jared, take it away.
Yes, Andrew. Right now we're in the downtown area. We're passing the FedEx Forum, and when I tell you, on our way here to downtown Memphis, it was completely just rain, and we could see the rain picking up and then lighting up, then picking up, then lighting up, and then also you could feel like the breeze of wind on the car, how we were swooshing out the way. But let me give you an idea of what we're seeing right now. I know last time you saw us, it wasn't that much rain, so now you can definitely see the rain. You can see our windshield wipers going. We're passing the FedEx Forum right here around that corner. And we've been seeing a body of standing water that collects a lot of water. So we want to make sure that you guys are also watching out for that. Like I said, Patrick was not lying when he mentioned that the rain would be picking up, and he was correct. The rain has picked up. The wind is starting to blow. Like I said, our windshield wipers are on the highest speed, as you can see them going back and forth across the windshield. But make sure that you guys are also being safe here on these roads. We have been seeing a lot of cars and a lot of people driving. Make sure you're driving safe. Make sure that you're giving people enough time to get in front of you. Make sure that you're also getting to your commutes a little bit early. So we want you guys to be safe and focus on safety as part of the key right now. We'll continue to keep you guys updated and informed as we continue to learn more. We're going to start heading to a different direction just to give you guys a different viewpoint of kind of what we're seeing out here on these roads, just so you can be prepared for even if you decide to leave work or if you decide to go get lunch or anything like that. But reporting live in downtown Memphis, Jared Thomas, Action News 5.
Okay, Jared, real quick, you mentioned there was a lot of strong wind in addition to that heavy rain. Did you see any hail or anything else to be aware of?
I haven't seen any hail or anything. It seems like it's just rain. We've seen a little bit of lightning, and then, like I said, like the heavy wind that Patrick had mentioned earlier. So those are the three things that I've saw from my end. I will definitely keep you updated if we do see hail or anything else coming up.
Okay, Jared Thomas reporting live for us from the First Alert Storm Tracker. We appreciate it. Jared, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, again, live pictures there from downtown Memphis. I want to show you another picture here of Midtown Memphis, because Midtown's camera was really giving you quite a vantage point of some of the heavy rain that's now moving into Midtown Memphis. There it is, 69 degrees at 10:29 here. Let's get an update on our forecast, not only for today, but for the next 7 days with meteorologist Patrick Ellis.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. A First Alert day for you that you need to be weather aware to as we are watching strong and severe thunderstorms potentially coming into play here across the Mid-South. Some of those storms could be quite heavy and, again, strong as they roll on through. First Alert Futurecast showing that line of showers and thunderstorms moving eastward. And as it moves farther east, it runs into more of an environment that would be conducive for strong and severe storms the closer it gets to I-55, just because it does get into a more juiced up environment, more instability to work through. So some of these storms could quickly become strong to severe. Strong winds, the primary severe weather risk, but we can't rule out some hail. We can't rule out a spin up tornado. This will be through the early afternoon. Then we transition into a heavy rain aspect that will take us through the afternoon and evening time frame. Some of this quite heavy rainfall moving across the region that could lead up to some flood concerns as we head through the course of the day today. Storm timeline, again, still highlighting for the strong storm potential between 9 o'clock in the morning through about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then heavy rainfall that will likely linger into the early evening hours before tapering off to just plain Jane showers here. So again, when you look at the First Alert Futurecast, timing it out, you get closer to about lunchtime, and that's when the storms will be crossing over I-55, moving farther out to the east, out towards the Tennessee River as we get closer to 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the rain sets in, holds steady for several hours until a front works its way through the area. Once the winds turn around to the north and west, that's when we'll start to see some changes coming in our direction. Much cooler air moves in as we head into the start of your Thursday. Sunshine to return, temperatures in the 30s and 40s to start off the day on Thursday, on our way up to about 58, the high temperature during the course of the afternoon hours. But again, today, want you to stay weather aware on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. We go into your Friday Monday, not bad. We'll have a lot of sunshine, upper 60s, low 70s with sunshine and a southwest breeze flow around 10 to 15 miles per hour. The Silky Sullivan's St. Patrick's Day Parade on Beale Street. Great weather on Saturday. Tons of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the 70s with the south wind coming in around 10 miles per hour. That will help us out, of course, to keep us pretty quiet and bright, but we will also be importing moisture, leading up to some opportunities for rain and storms again by late Sunday. Right now, it looks like that morning commute should be fine. If you've got church plans on Sunday, we'll get through that the majority of the day without much fanfare, but showers and storms will start dropping into the area. At times, heavy, but this will be a quick mover because quickly behind it, colder air will start moving into the area. We're talking highs in the upper 40s. Struggling on Monday here across the area as the back door of Canada opens up and he comes shooting down the plains from 75 Sunday, 48 on Monday, and 50 for a high temperature coming up on Tuesday. Then Tuesday, look at that low here in the city of Memphis, 30 degrees. That means the outlying areas will likely be colder than that. To start off early on Tuesday morning, a widespread freeze and frost more than likely here across the Mid-South, something we haven't seen in a while, but a reminder to many folks that we tell you all the time, do not put out your plants until after tax day. And that's the reason why, because of things like that. We'll get back up to close to 62 degrees on Wednesday, back to the 70s as we round out the the winter season, heading into spring next Friday, a high in the mid-70s with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. A reminder, stay weather aware throughout the course of the day. One way to do that on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Stay safe and we'll keep you advised of any changes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Let's talk about fitness tips for seniors out there, older Americans trying to stay active in 2026 and beyond. Joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm joined by Katie Sandfield. She is someone who coordinates fitness at Trezvant, and she is on the digital desk to talk more about where we can begin when it comes to seniors staying fit, staying active, because it is so important, especially as you age, to remain very active. Katie, good morning to you. Where should we begin with this?
Good morning. Just something that I've really been seeing, especially I work at a residential place for seniors, and we're just seeing how much younger a 70-year-old is even now compared to 10 years ago. So we're really upping our level of fitness around here and meeting people where they are and really trying to just keep them independent for as long as they can. That's our main goal with fitness here.
You know, I see that all the time on social media, Katie, where we show pictures of people back in the 80s on various shows, and they look a lot older and they're actually kind of young. And then you compare that to people today, and you're right, they look a lot younger and they're doing more things to benefit their health and age in a better way. Where do we begin? I know you work at Trezvant Manor there. What's the best, underlying theme and exercises that people should begin with?
Yes, we focus on balance. That underlies all of our classes across the board. That is the number one thing that people are concerned with, because if we don't have good balance, we're falling. Falling is going to lead to joint replacements and a lower quality of life. So we are focusing on strength, flexibility and agility. Really, a lot of our exercises, they don't look like much, but they're going to give us that, again, independence through our life. So we practice a lot of moving through our balances. So as simple as lifting a leg and pretending to step over an obstacle. And that's going to help us in a parking lot. That's going to help us when grandchildren are over and they're leaving toys everywhere. I have a 4-year-old at home, and that's a lot of my daily life and my parents' life when they come over to babysit, is practicing that agility of when you don't know if there's going to be a little toy car on the ground and you have to practice stepping over that. We saw it a lot in the last few weeks with the snow and ice, finding that steadiness, grounding through our feet and through our core and our upper body to have our best posture to be able to walk on that snow and ice. In all of our classes, any senior class that anyone's going to go to across the board, whether it's at a residential place like Trezevant, or if you're just going to the gym, taking a silver sneakers class, they're always going to offer a chair. That's pretty much standard across the board. I just taught a class a few minutes ago, and we stay seated the whole time today, but we were still working on exercises that are going to benefit them with their balance.
What about when it comes to avoiding injuries, Katie? Because if they're going to be exercising, they're going to be moving, they're going to be trying to stay balanced and agile, we got to figure out ways to avoid injury, right?
Absolutely. A little soreness is okay. Anytime you're going to try a new exercise or a new class, you're going to feel a little soreness. And that just means you're working muscles that haven't worked in a little while. We also need to remember that our fitness is going to look a little different in our 80s than it did in our 30s. So I see that a lot where it's like, well, I used to be able to do all of this, and we can't quite push ourselves to that level anymore. Our joints are older. You start to lose a little muscle mass as we get older. So just be patient with yourself when you're trying something new. I had a 92-year-old come to yoga for the first time the other day, and I hope he's watching. And I told him, it's not going to happen overnight. That was a shock to your system because I was asking you to do things that your body has never done before. And you can't go 100% the first time. You got to take those baby steps to find these new exercises that are going to work for you and your new body. And your body is different day to day. I cue that a lot. I'm a yoga teacher at heart, and we always talk about listening to our bodies. And your body is going to tell you when you need to slow down, or if that is not the exercise that your body needs at this point. Also keeping an eye on your blood pressure, your blood sugar if you're diabetic. A lot of our gyms have, blood pressure cuffs or a little pulse ox that can go on your finger just to check your oxygen. Or even a lot of the machines in the gym, they have those little, you'll see little silver panels on the elliptical, the treadmill, and that will check your pulse and just check in on your body and see where you are in that moment. So with exercise, there's always the discussion of diet. Let's talk about diet when we talk about seniors and exercising and staying active. Absolutely. Always talking about a heart healthy diet, lower sodium, but that doesn't mean food needs to be boring. Spices, lots of spices and seasonings don't have any salt in them. Definitely don't have to be just eating plain chicken and steamed broccoli anymore. There's so much good food out there. I also talk about hydration a lot. I'm a millennial. I come from the generation where we are glued to our water bottles all the time. So during my classes, I try to tell everyone, remind people, okay, let's pause here, get a drink of water. A lot of people are worried about overhydrating and needing to leave to go to the bathroom, and that's always fine. Always, again, listen to your body. If you're thirsty, drink that water. The water is going to lubricate your muscles, help them heal from being sore.
Finally, can you talk about how important community and friendship is as we age?
Yes. The class I was just talking about, I have a 9:15 class every morning, and we get about 20 people in that class consistently, and they are the same ones that are coming every day. And that accountability of your friends, they will remind you like, oh, I didn't see you in class. Like, we were worried about you when you don't show up. And a lot of times, I have a 5-minute delay on class because we're all socializing, we're all catching up, inviting each other to dinner. And that really keeps people coming back day after day. Because a lot of times, especially if you're retired, you're not getting out as much. That might be the only time you get out of your house all day is to attend a fitness class. And that's just such a great community. And that's my favorite part of teaching seniors. My son is like a second grandchild to them. So they all want to hear about what's going on in my life. I want to know what's going on with their grandchildren. It really creates a beautiful community that feels like a family.
I appreciate that, Katie. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
Again, just talking about how much younger our seniors are these days and to really respect them and to meet them where they are. And it is so great to hear, hey, we want a harder class. We just started a program of weightlifting for seniors because they're doing their research, they're online reading articles and seeing that we need to keep building muscle to keep maintaining our healthy lifestyle. And but yeah, and just if you're watching this and you're a senior and you're scared to go into class, please don't hesitate to go. People are always saying, oh, I don't want them to look at me, but people are so wrapped up in what they're doing, what's going on in their body. I promise they're not even looking at you, and you're going to make a new friend if you go.
All right, Katie Stanfield joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We really appreciate these tips, Katie. Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do for the wonderful people there at Trezevant Manor. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There is a story that's written in the Daily Memphian, and this is about tax revenue from XAI. It is projected to more than double. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I have Sam Hardiman on the line. He wrote this article, and XAI has been in the news a lot over the last several weeks, several months. Sam, I don't have to tell you, but this one definitely piqued my curiosity because a lot of people who have been in support of XAI coming into Memphis and the Mid-South area have pointed to this fact that tax revenues are going to continue to grow. Can you talk a little bit about the projections when it comes to this tax revenue? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Thanks for having me. And so the Shelby County Assessor's Office gave a presentation to the Shelby County Commission that estimates XAI's Shelby County property tax revenue, which is just one component. They obviously pay City of Memphis taxes for their City of Memphis operations. And this doesn't have anything to do with their South Haven operations because that's a different state and different municipality in that state. But just for Shelby County, based for the 2 data centers in Memphis, it could pay up to $28 million this year in ad valorem property tax, which is obviously a big amount of money. It's huge for the county budget. It would probably be a similar amount of money just based on projections for the City of Memphis because the assessments work roughly the same. But we don't know that officially yet. And so last year for the 2025 tax year, XAI paid the county $12.5 million. This is money that's actually been paid, and the City of Memphis $12 million. And that was just with one data center on the tax rolls. What's really important here is now there are 2 data centers. The Whitehaven data center, which is at 5422 Lane Road, is now on the tax rolls. Beyond the first original one, source of the original controversy, 3231 Paul Lowry Road, which is now going to be on its 2nd year on the tax rolls. And so that's where this money in this increased projection is coming from. We still haven't seen the actual appraisals yet, and that's something to really look at and make sure that XAI is being taxed on everything that's in the building. But this is why the revenue is going up. It's just there's more XAI to tax.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I know last year there was discussion about earmarking some of their tax money to some of the neighborhoods around XAI. I know there was talk. Did anything come from that? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, something happened. I don't actually know what the City of Memphis has done with the money yet, but the City of Memphis did pass an ordinance. Forgive me, I don't remember the name of it, but essentially allocating money within a radius around the XI data centers, a quarter of the tax revenue, And the mayor actually put out a video probably last week on his Instagram page that was talking, didn't really say what was being done in 38109, but was video talking to local pastors and residents about the need for investment in the area. Obviously, the Memphis Mayor Paul Young has yet to present his budget yet. And so that's, how much their revenue they're expecting from XAI and what a quarter of it looks like remains to be seen. So yeah, that has happened. At the same time, both Shelby County and the city of Memphis face real budget constraints and have slow growth in other revenue sources or negative growth in some revenue sources in the city of Memphis. So this money is coming, this influx of essentially what is taxation on billions, tens of billions of dollars, probably an investment from XAI is coming probably at a welcome time for both governments' budgets, is probably fair to say.
Yeah, I can see that. Interesting stuff, Sam. Another thing that was interesting that I found in that article that you wrote, Sam, was the fact that other companies have purchased properties for perhaps the potential of other data centers. Explain.
Yeah, and we've reported this at the Daily Memphian. I think WMC has too. We're talking about the former Fred's warehouse, other stuff. Probably none of it as substantial as XAI, because XAI, not just on a Memphis scale, like I think Memphians sort of sometimes forget how large XAI's actual investment here is or maybe even don't know in terms on a national scale. It's giant. This is one of the largest, clusters of data centers in the country for like artificial intelligence purposes. So like just a different level of investment. But yeah, these other data centers are planned, and again, that planned is not building, is not having permits, is not drawing electricity, right? There's a difference, and yeah. So I mean, that is what the Shelby County assessor's office is saying in a presentation. Whether or not that stuff actually comes on the tax rolls is different. I mean, XAI has come on the tax rolls and built data centers. Obviously, they're in existing buildings. That's part of the reason why. At pretty crazy speed, right? In the West Memphis, Google project, for example, obviously different state, different municipality, but not any, because that's a new build. That's nowhere close to contributing tax revenue to that community yet. And so this isn't to praise XAI, it's just to say XAI is moving at such speed that like almost in real time, the investment in any economic benefit from the controversy, which is really the tax revenue, right, is happening versus, just controversy and no increased tax revenue. And so that's worth, and obviously it's not just controversy. There's real air pollution concerns that have come with XAI. XAI has been a material addition, not material, I can't say that, but has definitely been an addition based on facts to the region's air quality issues. How big of an addition is probably beyond my knowledge, and I'd love to see some good science on that. But there's increased tax revenue here, and then there's also the fact that this investment has come with an additional worse contribution to air quality issues, which Shelby County already had before XAI arrived.
Okay, all right. Another thing I wanted to mention, kind of related there, is the fact that with these other companies perhaps building data centers, and again, as you mentioned, I mean, there's nothing that has any kind of agreement in place that says, okay, a data center will go up. They've just purchased property there. But it could drive, if you mentioned, XAI has this huge presence here. Could there be the possibility of, becoming this hot spot for data centers and artificial intelligence here in Memphis and the Mid-South?
I mean, it's not just a possibility at this point, Andrew. I mean, if you just look at the amount of very valuable chips, which we don't have a really good number from the company on right now, that are doing the type of artificial intelligence computing in Memphis that XAI has, Memphis is definitely a hot spot. Just a matter of whether the discussion of, is Memphis going to be like an AI hub in the future, and is this going to, grow? I think that's hypothetical. I think XAI by itself has made Memphis this, whether or not there's like going to be this sort of critical mass of companies is unclear. And it's also worth noting that like some of these other data centers aren't necessarily AI data centers. And there's a difference in terms of, we're using the cloud right now for all this interview, right? Like it's, we're using whatever Zoom is using as a cloud provider and whatever y'all are using. And we're, being able to do this. I mean, that's happening because of a data center. It's just not an artificial intelligence data center. And so that's, I think, important to note too. And so, yeah, I think XAI by itself, but just, I mean, the amount of investment it takes to become an AI hub is crazy. And it's just, I don't know if there's going to be another company coming.
Okay. Well, listen, I always appreciate the conversation. Sam Hardiman, Daily Memphian, and joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We appreciate your time as always, Sam. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. It's time to check in on one of the prettiest places in the entire Memphis, Mid-South area. Jenna Harris is at Memphis Botanic Garden right now to talk about tulips at twilight. It sounds like an amazing event for adults, right? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're excited to bring y'all out here and see all of our beautiful tulips that are starting to bloom right now. We have a lot of things going on with our whole season of bloom. Tulips at twilight is going to be one of those. At the rate the tulips are going, it might be strings in the spring or, our tulips. Mother Nature is coming in just a little bit earlier than we expected. So right now our tulips are in full bloom. This weekend is going to be a fantastic time to be able to come out and see those. The weather's looking great for that. You can come out, see the tulips in full bloom before we get that little shot of cold weather. There'll still be tulips a little bit later in the spring. But again, we've got all of the different things that are starting to bloom. The great thing about being here in the garden is that every day it's beautiful. It might not be exactly what we expected when we expected it, but there's always something blooming and something looking fantastic out here.
It really looks amazing, Jenna. I mean, those tulips just look gorgeous. Tell us exactly where you are at the Botanic Garden.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling Tulip Terrace. This is back across from the Japanese garden near our Blecken Pavilion area. And historically, this hillside has been covered with daffodils. A lot of those are already done blooming. They come out a little bit earlier in the spring, in the late winter, early spring. And so this year, as a part of a big celebration of bloom, we've planted tulips all throughout the garden. This is one of the largest concentrations of tulips in the garden is Tulip Terrace. And for tulips at twilight, and they'll be playing beautiful string music as the sun is setting. You can purchase a meal and be able to be here out in the garden, enjoying your dinner and some cocktails while the band is playing the music back here within the.
Okay, so this is April 3rd, right? So this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock? Can you hear me, Jenna? Uh-oh, I think we lost you.
There you go.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Good. I was going to say, this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, this is going to be April 3rd. So again, our tulips might be done by that point, but everything else will be blooming and beautiful, and we'll be able to enjoy the garden space as everything is blooming. Right now, we're waiting on those cherry trees to pop. We'll have our cherry blossom picnic coming up here in a couple of weeks, which is one of our favorite times at the garden. It's one of our kind of our kickoff of spring here at the garden, and we'll be able to enjoy that as well. So it's looking like you're going to be able to see everything blooming at one time out here before we hit into those southern favorites with our azaleas and some of the other things that'll be blooming throughout here.
And if people want to see just more information on various events that you guys happening throughout the spring and summer months, give us the web address one more time.
Yep, you can visit our website at membg.org. You can go on there. That'll have all of the information about all of our upcoming events. We've got our Sunday garden club classes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about gardening and how you can make your yard look like this as well, you can come to some of those. And then all of the other things we have coming up, and the links for the tickets will be on there as well.
Okay, Jenna Harris, appreciate you as always, and the beautiful 96 acres at Memphis Botanic Garden. Thank you so much.